It is Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And it was a relatively boring, no jiu-jitsu, get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Wednesday. I did do the synthesized class, although I have to admit I've been kind of diverting my jiu-jitsu energies to actually rolling on my little patch of mat and doing singles drills and stuff like that. And while I'm sure it's not as intense as an actual match, it's keeping my body moving in the right ways. And I think that's about the best I can do at this point. You know, I'm still kind of disappointed that we're not back to physical training yet. I don't feel like that's something that's going to be given back to us. I think that's going to be something that we probably end up having to fight for. You know, where we're having to show up at our dojos and just fucking show up, and you know, if anybody says anything, just kind of flip them off and go about our training. To me, it does seem like there's already some of that going on. I just read an article. Was it yesterday or the day before, about a gym down in Redding, California, that's doing exactly that, where they're just saying, you know what, fuck y'all, we risk at least getting sick from one another every time we get out on that mat. So, we're not gonna really tolerate this whole we can't fucking train because somebody somewhere said we can't fucking train. That's such bullshit. I mean, I don't even understand the rationale behind it, in all honesty, because everything I know about immunology and epidemiology and stuff, it's that with diseases like this, the best way to overcome it is to get exposure to it and get over it. You know, whether or not it actually manages to take you down in the meantime, well, that's usually a reflection of your health otherwise. You know, are you living in a relatively clean environment? Do you wash your clothes regularly? Do you wash your body regularly? These are the considerations that you have to make. Are you washing your hands after you go to the bathroom? You just don't go out of your way to make things harder on your body than it has to be, and chances are that you'll be just fine. Of course, doing the whole jiu-jitsu thing, it's an increased exposure risk of pretty much everything. And I think it's one of the reasons why the healthiest people that I know are all people that do jiu-jitsu. And it's not because they can run the fastest, and it's not because they're the physically strongest, but it's because they're constantly taxing their immune systems by exposing themselves to other people's immune systems. Our immune system isn't just a defensive thing; it's also offensive, and it's always been that way. We don't tolerate. We don't really tap on too much of our biological reality, especially not in our social media and stuff. It seems like there's a lot of people that want to forget physical reality, biological reality. And I think it's because biological life is inconvenient. You can't really graph it 100%. Invariably, there's outliers on the top and the bottom end of things, regardless of what you're trying to measure. But I think the illusion is that you can somehow manage enough of reality that you can keep things within intolerable bounds for the most part. And I think the problem with that is that so much of what we do every day is just it's like an impression of what we're supposed to do, And because it's not the actual thing that we should be doing, such as tending crops and shit like that, our sensitivity to what it takes to keep us alive is very, very low. We don't consider the land loss that other organisms experience when we're tilling under land, or rivers when we're blocking them up or draining them. It's a relatively limited perception for us, especially if we work in an office or some shit like that. It's because you're not the person on the water, you're not the person out in in the grass there fucking picking berries and shit. But I think that that's changing, and I think that that's going to probably be one of the biggest things that changes about COVID, about what's going on right now, is that I think the reality of this dependent structure that we or dependency structure that we're living in, I think it's becoming much more plain and much more real for a lot of people. You know, we've been able to tolerate it or relate to it. I should say not tolerate it, relate to it as a perceptual or conceptual thing. You know, it's something that it's just sensory data. It's not important. We can just kind of, you know, phase that out. You know, it doesn't matter that we're sensing it. and I think that, again, it's a very big mistake that we've made. And this is going to be the correction of it. I hope, if anything, that we do learn that we can't be this dependent on Walmart for everything that we eat and our clothing and all that. And especially not when we're living in such a technologically advanced era. You know, when it's like the 13th and 14th century, and the people that possess like the capability of creating clothing or land to grow food on is relatively limited. You know, and their ability to exert force on other people is much lower than it was back then, I would say. Or, I don't know, different. There's different ways that we can have pressures applied to us and whatnot. But, you know, I mean, back then, things were a lot more specialized, or could be a lot more specialized. Whereas now, we can do pretty much everything. I mean, you could be creating your own clothing. You could be planting your own crops and raising your own cattle. It's all a matter of what available resources you have, and of course your ability to negotiate with your neighbors, because doing stuff like that requires actual cooperation. And I think that that's exactly where we're going to go. You're not going to be able to depend on Walmart for a year tomorrow. You're going to be depending on your next door neighbor for a lot more of it than you had before. But the dependency, the nature of the dependency there, I think will change as well. But anyway, enough about that. Let's go ahead and throw down with some music. And then on the other side of it, I actually do have something kind of planned. I don't know how much of the show it will actually occupy. But I do have something planned as far as material to cover today. So there's that to be said for it. But anyway, let's go ahead and throw down with some music. And I want to start off with some body count. You know I'm going to. And Carnivore, First Dance, here on Coin. Well, no, you know what? I was going to play Carnivore. I'm sorry. Don't want to get you all excited like that. But let's go ahead with this one. Bum Rush, First Dance, here on Coin Metal. And that was Wayne Static with Thunder Invader. And so, as far as what we're going to get into today, I wanted to kind of hit the ground running because I did kind of let it run a little. It's about average for us. I was thinking I let it run a little bit over on music, but no, I think we're about on par. So anyway, as far as what we're going to get into today, I caught some stuff on my Twitter feed, and I was kind of perplexed by it, because apparently there's some more litigation afoot as far as Ripple is concerned. And just a side note, you guys that are enjoying this pump, trade easy, my friends. Watch your leverage. Things can go up and things can go down. But so far it's looking good. Not trying to put a damper on you, just stating reality, kids. Anyway, this one's on CoinDesk, and I think this is the first one I've read by this guy. This guy's named Patty Baker. But yes, penis. YouTube suspends Ripple's tech chief days after XRP scam lawsuit filing. And this is authored on April 29th, 2020 at 10:42 UTC. And scrolling down here. YouTube has suspended the channel of Ripple CTO David Schwartz soon after the blockchain firm launched a lawsuit against it over XRP scams and videos. Schwartz, who also goes by the online moniker Joel Katz, said Wednesday morning YouTube had suspended his channel. Quote, "Weirdly, YouTube just decided to suspend my channel, as Joel Katz, for impersonation. I wonder who they think I was impersonating," he tweeted. CoinDesk reached out to Schwartz for comment, but received none at press time. YouTube can terminate channels that violate the platform's guidelines, including for predatory behavior, hate speech, harassment, as well as impersonation. Channel owners are prohibited from creating new channels, but they are allowed to submit an appeal request if they think their channel was suspended or terminated in error. Good luck getting that. Wednesday's events come a week after Ripple initiated a lawsuit against YouTube on allegations the platform had failed to prevent fake XRP giveaway scams on the platform. The filing states that YouTube's unwillingness to suspend scam channels has led users to being defrauded out of hundreds of thousands of dollars, as well as reputational damage for Ripple, as if Ripple really had a reputation of damage. Quote, "Ripple has repeatedly demanded that YouTube take action to stop the scam and prevent further harm, yet YouTube refuses, even where the same scheme is replicated time and again on its platform. YouTube's response has been woefully inadequate and incomplete. As a result, Ripple and Garlinghouse continue to suffer substantial reputational harm," reads the lawsuit. Schwartz's channel was active for years, so the timing of the suspension is interesting, given that it comes so close to the start of legal proceedings. Of course, it may be down to YouTube's moderation algorithms messing up again. CoinDesk approached YouTube for comment, but hadn't received a response by press time. I can tell you from my own experience that these organizations, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of them have their own interests in crypto. And so they've been, I believe, unduly flexing their position as social media platforms, and have gone to trying to craft thought and craft narrative. And while this has probably always been like a feature of social media, I feel in the not so distant future that they're all going to end up getting supplanted by a disinterested party, by a party, a social media platform that is willing to forego all of the wonderful goodness that can be derived from collecting your behavioral data and selling it to other people. I think this is a argument and a debate that is more than ripe. I mean, in today's climate especially, where several companies and even governments have been pushing people to try and get them to stay at home. Well, if I stay at home and I'm in front of this device that's monitoring me, then I'm constantly being monitored. Now, can you tell me what is functionally dissimilar between me being constantly monitored and me being in a prison? I mean, if I can't leave, if I can't go to places that I would like to go and do things that I would like to do, functionally, what is the difference between my existence outside of prison and inside of prison? Other than the fact that, I can still kind of resist out here. I can protest, and I can do a couple other things to communicate my dissatisfaction with the situation at hand that I wouldn't be able to. There's certain recourse that's available to me as a free person that I wouldn't have as a person in prison. But in many other ways, the the separation between the two as far as agency online is concerned is pretty much the same. And I think that's a very unfortunate kind of situation. And I believe it's one that we only tolerate because that's the situation that we think we have to deal with, that we have to tolerate it. And I think, again, that at some point in the not-so-distant future, we are going to have people that take serious the concept of privacy and the concept of permission and sovereignty, and the value of that being in the individual's hands, not in a collective pool to be dedicated as somebody may wish. Because again, we're talking about creating a situation like we have with the Federal Reserve, where the Federal Reserve is free to disperse funds to whomever they wish, because they are a private bank. So they can issue as much currency as they want, according to certain limits, although they don't have to go to Congress to do that anymore. And they can adjust the amount and the disbursements as they so choose. And this is in addition to them participating as a trader just like you. That whale with the infinite amount of money to spend. Well, that's just as likely to be the Federal Reserve. So anyway, these entities, I think that they abuse their position as a social media platform. I've experienced it personally on Twitter. My Twitter account is still suspended to this day. And I believe that, the only reason it still exists is because there's a possibility open for it to be unsuspended sometime in the future. And I will continue to petition for such. But the thing is there have been a number of waves of cullings on Twitter and other social media platforms where these parties, YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or any other of these social media platforms have said, we are, after all, a permissioned environment, and therefore we will behave on our platforms as we see fit. And we don't care if it's in detriment to you, and we don't care if it limits your scope and your reach. If you don't agree with us, fuck you and fuck your view. I don't know about you, but that's not a satisfactory perspective to have towards me or towards anybody. When they started deplatforming people, like Alex Jones, when they started working on deplatforming Alex Jones, I was saying to myself, okay, if this guy is such a conspiracy theorist and this guy is such a fucking wacko, why are they going through so much effort to try and kick him off? Well, you look what's going on with regard to COVID and the kind of limitations that your government is wishing to impose on you and companies are wishing to impose on you. And you compare that to the kinds of things that Alex Jones was saying was coming, you find out that the man was exactly right. The wording is different. The reasoning behind it is different. But functionally, it's identical. If you were to look at the adjustments to your lifestyle right now and to compare them to those expectations put forward in the Green New Deal, you will find out that the same exact restrictions on your personal travel, on where you can go, on what you can do, all of these things were prescribed for in the Green New Deal. So, you're just being shoved the fucking Green New Deal right up your ass under the cover of fucking COVID. Congratulations, you've been duped again. But that's just my perspective, and personally I don't think it's all through yet. I think that y'all out there have something to contribute to the conversation as of yet that you haven't said. Anyway, so back to this thing, Ripple. I can't say I feel terribly bad because of who it is, but just like Alex Jones getting deplatformed, I don't like the fact that Ripple is being treated like this. And I do want to make one other point, though, on this. And this is something that Ripple and every other cryptocurrency out there should be considering, is the possibility, and this is a very real one. As a matter of fact, I'm almost certain that it actually exists. Whether it's an internal initiative, meaning official policy, or if it's a private initiative of employees within organizations such as Twitter, Facebook, whatever, whether it has tacit, official, or implicit approval, I don't know. But I would be willing to bet 100%, and only because I've observed a correlation between my own stimuli submitted and the response to it, that these organizations have internal departments that are dedicated solely to trying to scam people for their Ethereum and their Bitcoin. There, I said it. The reason these scam accounts don't go away is because they are internal. They are a product of the platform. Again, whether or not it's an official policy of these platforms and official departments, I can't rightly say. But I will say this. It's happening within these entities. Whether it's an official or an implicit or a suggested or a black ops operation, I don't know. Whether it's a singular organization executing their own will across these platforms, again, I don't know. However, I did a little testing on my own, and these algorithms watch for a lot of things. And one of the things is that if they are running such a thing, one of the things that the algorithm would watch for is the amount of suspicion that arising on the platform that such a manipulation is taking place internally. And so I started testing that one myself, and oddly enough, all of it seemed to stop on Twitter. You remember back in the day when you get like clone accounts of, Elon Musk or, President Trump or Barack Obama hitting you up for fucking Ethereum saying, hey, if you send me 15, I'll send you 100 in an hour. Well, like I said, I think the entities that are dedicated to the dissemination and propagation of these things are in fact internal organizations within Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, so on and so forth. I refuse to believe that it's one of two things. Either A, these people's security is way more lax than they are ever willing to admit, which is a possibility. It is a possibility. Or B, that they're internal. These are internal organizations or internal departments that are dedicated specifically and solely to acting as scammers. And the reason I think it's actually B is because they can deplatform Alex Jones. They can stop Alex Jones from creating a second account and then accessing their platform through that account. Through their analytics and their capabilities on their end, they're able to determine that it is Alex Jones that is sending the message. And they filter it by that. They filter the tweets. They filter the Facebook posts. They filter the YouTube channels in all their shows. And so, again, if they've got that kind of filtering down and yet they still have scams, what's more likely? That there's some major gap in their fucking security that stops them from doing anything about this, or that they have an internal department dedicated solely to this enterprise. Especially if they're just copying and pasting the same shit over and over again. Again, that's something that they could just do on their own server. They just copy, paste, bam, no new folder, new account, new profile, bam. And as far as manipulating the number of subscribers, it's their platform. They can create as many fucking dummy accounts on their own platform as they want. And they could have accounts that are dedicated to one thing and one thing only. And that's increasing the subscribership and likes of these scams. So yeah, it's not really all that hard to think about when you think about it in terms of something that's happening on somebody else's server. After you conceptualize that when you go onto Facebook, you're logging into somebody else's server. All the content that you see there is somebody else's to some extent. I mean, you might own it. You might have been the person that took the picture, but after you upload it to Facebook, you've uploaded it to Facebook's servers. And so that makes it kind of their property, because, I mean, it is physically on their property. I know. I'm digging a little bit deeper here in my statements and kind of showing you the veil here. Anyway, as far as where I wanted to go from there, I got that one, Petty Bear, yep, Ripple. And so I dug a little bit deeper into this lawsuit, because that's where my interest really lies in this. And let's see, here it is. This is a little bit deeper, and this was about 8 days ago, and then I'm going to go to the lawsuit. Ripple sues YouTube for allowing, quote, scams that promise free XRP. This is on April 21st, 2020 at 2039 UTC. And this is by Nicholas D. So yes, penis. Ripple Labs and CEO Brad Garlinghouse is suing YouTube over allegations the video streaming giant has failed to police its platform against fake XRP giveaway scams, resulting in monetary damage to users and reputational harm to Ripple. Again, what's this reputation that they claim is being damaged? Their reputation isn't all that great in crypto as is. Ripple's lawsuit centers around, quote, XRP giveaway scams that rely on hijacked accounts. And yeah, again, hijacked accounts. It's on somebody else's server. How hard is it for them to fucking hijack it if it's on their server? Hijacked accounts and other means to fool victims into believing that if they send some amount of XRP, they will receive a greater amount in return, the filing alleges. Similar scams with other cryptocurrencies have long existed on Twitter and other platforms. And to that point, I want to say again, this could just be the activities of employees within YouTube. Okay, we've seen where this has happened with what do you call them? AT&T. But again, you're talking about entities that are rich enough to be unofficially hiring people to do this kind of stuff. I'm not saying that anybody is completely free and clear of suspicion here. Just suggesting that there are multiple possibilities, and I'm not asserting any one of them over the other. Continuing on. Similar scams with other cryptocurrencies have long existed on Twitter and other platforms. In a series of tweets, Garlinghouse said YouTube was the, quote, epicenter of these scams, though he said other platforms like Instagram were also responsible. Quote, across the industry, social media companies have failed to police their platforms from being abused by the entirely preventable imposter giveaway scams. Hundreds of people, including some of you, have been hurt, yet big tech companies continue to drag their feet, he said. Now, I want to touch on something right here. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, if you guys are listening, pay very, very close attention to this. This lawsuit is going to be one of many. And if you would like to know how to stop it, it's really fucking simple. Stop policing cryptocurrencies. Stop policing people's thoughts on your platforms. I know it is your platform. But you know what? Your platforms exist and are popular because people encounter opinions and perspectives that they have never seen before, that they are unfamiliar with. That is why you are popular. because I can read through my Twitter feed and I can see perspectives from people from all over the fucking planet, all over the socioeconomical scape, people I will never meet in real life because our socioeconomic circles just don't interact and don't connect. And I can get a different perspective from these people. And you know, when their perspectives are being manipulated by you, you know, or which perspectives of theirs that I receive are being filtered by you, I'm not getting the full picture. You know, I might see something I like by this person, but, you know, if I'm not like following them explicitly, I might miss something. Or worse yet, though, something you delete. Maybe I wanted to see it. You know, I might have clicked through and you might have gotten interaction points or cash or whatever for that. The point being is, this is a reciprocal of policing people, is that people expect you to police in their interests. Their specific interests. And these interests may in fact be counter to your own. And again, I'm talking to social media platform operators that if you're trying to control the narrative, people are going to expect you to control the fucking narrative. And if you're not controlling the narrative in ways that benefit them, or just in ways that prevent their users from being neglected or harmed, you can and will be held accountable, at least civilly, in fucking court. And this is the first of it. Well, maybe not the first of it. You probably experienced this before. And if you have, you probably should have learned this fucking lesson before. When these Congress people, when these senators, when these motherfuckers ask you to police us and control the public narrative, you need to tell them no. You need to stand up for us. We are your fucking users. We are your customers. If you abuse our trust, if you manipulate what we see, we will abandon you. We will go somewhere else. You want to keep making money off of us? Serve us. Be a positive conduit for us. Don't try and control the narrative to where it's only positive. If the vast majority are negative messages, well, by golly, people got to see the volume of fucking negative messages that are coming through. Because that's how we make decisions. And especially when we're talking about things on an international scale, when we're deciding, you know, where we want to shop, what we want to buy. We make value decisions based on what we see. And if you're controlling the narrative, you're controlling what we can see. And that may serve some entities, but in other ways it could be harming you. In either the short or the long term. Continuing on. Hundreds of people, including some of you, have been hurt, yet tech companies continue to drag your feet. I don't expect tech companies to do a fucking thing. I really wish they would do less than they are. According to the suit, Ripple alleges the scammers have successfully defrauded, quote, millions of XRP valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars out of victims. And that's probably a very conservative estimate. The vast majority of people are so fucking embarrassed for having been duped, they don't bother to report it. And also there are those out there that accept that it was their responsibility, not Twitter or Facebook or YouTube, over whether or not they gave their fucking XRP to a complete fucking stranger. Anyway, continuing on. Let's see. Ripple alleges scammers have successfully defrauded millions of... It cited at least one instance where a scammer apparently received $15,000 in XRP from a victim. Okay, stop right there. How many times have you ever been tempted to send $15,000 worth of fucking anything to anybody? I don't know about you, but I've never been tempted. Never. Continuing on. Quote, Ripple has repeatedly demanded that YouTube take action to stop the scam and prevent further harm. Yet YouTube refuses, even where the same scheme is replicated time and again on its platform. YouTube's response has been woefully inadequate and incomplete. As a result, Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse continue to suffer substantial reputational harm, the suit said. Ripple sent at least 25 takedown notices against accounts promoting such giveaways, but YouTube failed to act promptly, the suit alleges. Among the allegations, Ripple says the Google subsidiary assists the scammers disseminate ads and profits off of this revenue. Quote, YouTube, after it was informed about the scam on countless occasions, sold and helped the scammers disseminate advertisements, so-called video discovery ads, to get more YouTube visitors to view and click on videos perpetuating the scam. The suit asks a federal court to compel YouTube to shut down any alleged scams which use Ripple's registered trademarks to promote such giveaways, to be more proactive in shutting down further alleged scams, to stop verifying any such alleged scams, and for damages, restitutions, costs, and interest. Quote, the court should compel YouTube to fulfill its obligations to discontinue its policy of willful inaction and to prevent further irreparable harm to Ripple's brand and Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation, which in turn will prevent further financial injury to the individuals who are duped by the scam. Absent a court order obligating YouTube to act, the scam will undoubtedly continue to flourish and create countless more victims, the suit said. Ripple did not immediately respond to a request for comment. A YouTube spokesperson told CoinDesk, quote, we take abuse of our platform seriously and take action quickly when we detect violations of our policies, such as scams or impersonation, in an email statement. And so, yeah, there you have it. Again, I think this is something that they really should ignore. You know, if they really do need to stop trying to police their platforms. And I know that's going to be to the disadvantage of some, but it's going to be to the advantage of all. You know, the fact of the matter is that the detriment that they're suffering here is due to the fact that they take any responsibility over what their users post. They really shouldn't take any. They should say, we are a First Amendment zone. If people want to post shit here, we want them to, because it gives us stuff to plaster ads to, and we're happy with that. Everybody else can just go fuck off. Unless, of course, it's your media, and of course it's copyrighted material, and you're not getting anything out of it. Then, you know, might hook you up with some restitution like that. But beyond that, don't really have any obligation to do so. And that again is just an expectation that's on par with any other broadcast media outlet. You know, whether we're talking about cable or pay-per-view or anything like that, if they start disseminating copyrighted works without proper attribution or compensation, there's plenty of civil court cases that have established precedent for what kind of restitution was due, who it was due for, so on and so forth. You know, not really venturing into new territory there. But again, when you start calling yourself the you know, arbiter of what gets posted, you're the ruler of things that gets posted. Well, fuck. When you slip up, when you fuck up and people get injured, it's your fault now. Because you could have done something and you did nothing. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw it down with some music. And then on the other side of that, we're going to go ahead and dive into this court case. Because we got the PDF and we can do that kind of thing. Anyway, so here it is. Vola in Mazes. Here on Coin Metal. And that was Anthrax with Fight 'Em Till You Can't. And speaking of fighting 'em until you can't, I got this thing, it's a PDF, and I harvested off of the connection to one of those articles, but this is the PDF for the lawsuit from Ripple Labs as the plaintiff against YouTube, the defendant. So, let's get into this thing. I think this is kind of interesting. Introduction. Plaintiffs Ripple Labs Incorporated and Bradley Garlinghouse, by and through their attorneys, bring this complaint against YouTube LLC for injunctive relief and damages. Plaintiffs allege as follows. Number 1, over the past several months, Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse have suffered and continue to suffer irreparable harm to their public image, brand, and reputation as a direct consequence of YouTube's deliberate and inexplicable failure to address a pervasive and injurious fraud occurring on its platform. Number 2, its fraud, often and dubiously named the XRP giveaway, the scam, is a third-party attack on Ripple's brand, Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation, and XRP holders worldwide. To be sure, the scam, a pervasive and extended course of conduct detailed in the allegations that follow, often relies upon spear-phishing attacks, hacked YouTube accounts, and the misappropriation of Mr. Garlinghouse's likeness and Ripple marks. But it also depends on and thrives because of YouTube's complacency and unwillingness to take seriously Ripple's repeated demands for action. Number 3, the scam has been replicated many times over by numerous unidentified bad actors. Each day that passes brings new iterations of the same essential scam, each of which leaves countless victims in its wake. While plaintiffs cannot know the precise number of defrauded individuals, the scope of the harm is vast. Millions of people have viewed the scam. A single instance of the scam reportedly resulted in $15,000 of stolen XRP. To date, plaintiffs believe and allege that the scam has defrauded victims out of millions of XRP valued at hundreds of thousands of dollars. The scam has also irreparably harmed Ripple's brand and Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation by infringing on Ripple's protected trademarks and misappropriating Mr. Garlinghouse's image and likeness. The scam fosters the false belief that Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse are somehow associated with or to blame for the scam. They are not, and introduces profound uncertainty and confusion into the broader digital asset market. Ripple has repeatedly demanded that YouTube take action to stop the scam and to prevent further harm. Yet YouTube refuses, even where the same scheme is replicated time and again on its platform. YouTube's response has been woefully inadequate and incomplete. As a result, Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse continue to suffer substantial reputational harm. YouTube can and must do better. YouTube regulatory touts its robust tools for self-regulating content on its platform, which purportedly include, quote, cutting-edge machine learning technology and sprawling network of human reviewers. But, in this case, faced with a pervasive scam, YouTube chose and continues to choose inaction. YouTube's inaction undermines its public commitments. YouTube's community guidelines purport to, quote, ban scams, which are identified as content offering cash gifts, get-rich-quick schemes, or pyramid schemes. Example 1 is an example of an impermissible scam. YouTube cites content that makes exaggerated promises, such as claims that viewers can get rich fast. YouTube's community guidelines thus bar precisely the sort of content at issue in this case. Yet, YouTube has ignored Ripple's repeated demands for action and instead enabled the scam to flourish. 8. Not only has YouTube failed to stop the scam, YouTube has also substantially assisted it. 9. First, YouTube has profited from the scam by aiding and abetting the scammers. YouTube, after it was informed about the scam on countless occasions, sold and helped the scammers disseminate advertisements, so-called video discovery ads, to get more YouTube visitors to view and click on videos perpetuating the scam. Example 2. Each such video posted on YouTube generates revenue by providing a vehicle through which YouTube can deliver scam ads on behalf of the scammers. YouTube maintains its business by maximizing advertising revenue. It has succeeded. YouTube generated more than $15 billion in revenue last year through ads alone, and is growing at a breakneck annual pace of about 36%. 10. Second, YouTube has expressly but falsely validated the scam as legitimate by awarding a verified badge to a hacked channel that was impersonating plaintiffs on furtherance of the scam. YouTube communicated to hundreds of thousands of viewers and subscribers that the hacked account was, quote, the official channel of a creator, artist, company, or public figure. This was completely false and profoundly harmful. 11. YouTube's refusal to take appropriate remedial action compels Ripple to seek relief from the court. The court should compel YouTube to fulfill its legal obligation to discontinue its policy of willful inaction and to prevent further irreparable harm to Ripple's brand and Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation, which, in turn, will prevent further financial injury to individuals who are duped by the scam. Absent a court order obligating YouTube to act, the scam will undoubtedly continue to flourish and create countless more victims. I want to take a pause there. Again, YouTube, this is your fault. What you should have done when people were coming to you and saying, hey, we want you to take down this person's thing because it's injuring us, you should have said no. That's it. You could have said no. And instead of saying yes, you should have said, hey, if you can demonstrate that this is your IP, we will give you part of that user's cut of their ad revenue or all of their revenue or whatever for that particular video or whatever. But that's the way to resolve it, okay? Not playing fucking filter boy on all of the shit coming in. You know, I think that this is one of those positions where YouTube did fuck up really big. Is that, you know, take for example one of the Star Wars movies. Say somebody did a hip recording of a Star Wars film and uploaded it to YouTube. What needs to be asked is why this person did it. And more importantly, what was the real effect? Because just as many people got to view it for free as probably went to the movie theater. You know, there's always the matter of interest. You know, it's like if I really like a Star Wars movie, I go and I buy the fucking thing. I know I don't have to. I can have it on demand on any number of mediums and whatnot. But, you know, say there's a moment when I don't have electricity or internet access, but I do have a device with a physical optical media drive on it, you know, that I can put a CD or a DVD into. I could conceivably watch my favorite Star Wars movie when I don't have any electricity other than in my laptop. That's why I buy physical media. Because fuck you. You don't get to tell me when I get to watch shit. You don't get to tell me when I listen to shit. That's why. But anyway, I think if they are going to regulate what's put onto their platform like that, they're going to encourage shit like this. Again, there are other mediums, other possibilities with regard to remediating to people the funds that they are due. You know, I give you another example. Albums. People bitch about people putting up albums and it not getting caught by YouTube. Personally, I don't give a fuck. Why? Because what happens is those albums get noticed by people like me who buy CDs. And I will go out and I will buy the CD of the band that I like. Now, see, that's the proper way to take advantage of it. But the problem is that, you know, it's like Amazon wants to be the one to sell it to you, and they want to make it to where they're the only people that can sell it to you, and so they got to confine the available, you know, mediums where you get to learn about this shit. And, you know, so you're only doing the shopping experience through them, and so they can examine your behaviors up until making that decision on their site. Hey, give me a fucking break, man. Let up some of the control. It's not going to help you in the end, and invariably it will make you less secure. You know, I mean, I don't know how many of these hacks I got to read about with Marriott. Apparently, like, I guess something like 10 million of their customers' shit got hacked again. I would be willing to bet you that they are still hacked. They are still compromised. You know, any hacker that could have got that deep into their shit is still in their shit. I mean, and I don't know how they're doing it, and it's just as likely that the hackers got really close source to one or more of the major hubs for Marriott, because from what I understand, there are several vendors that broadcast your data unencrypted. From like the hotel. Like if there's a hotel and it's got smart services, and the smart services are adjoined to say like a casino that's right next door or whatever, you don't have to continue to carry around your wallet and whatnot, because they've got you ID'd and they're biometrically scanning you, and so they can do all the transactions and stuff and know that it is you. The problem is this: because that data isn't encrypted, everybody else knows it's you too. Continuing on. Parties. The plaintiff, Ripple Labs Incorporated, is a leading enterprise blockchain company founded on a simple but powerful idea: to enable financial institutions to instantly and reliably send money across borders for fractions of a penny. Ripple's global payment network has over 300 enterprise customers across 40 countries. Ripple employs more than 450 individuals in 9 global offices. Ripple is a Delaware corporation with its principal place of business in San Francisco, California. Number 13, plaintiff. Bradley Garlinghouse is the CEO of Ripple and resides in California. Number 14, defendant. YouTube is a Delaware limited liability company with its principal place of business in San Bruno, California. Yeah. That whole Delaware thing. It's amazing. You really ought to look into it. Jurisdiction. Number 15. The court has federal question jurisdiction pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1331 over Ripple's first cause of action for contributory liability for trademark infringement in violation of the Lanham Act, 15 U.S.C. 1114, subsection 1. 16. The court has supplemental jurisdiction pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1367 over Ripple's second and third state law causes of action for misappropriating the right of publicity and for violating California's unfair competition law, because each of these claims arises out of the same nucleus of operative fact as Ripple's federal claim. Number 17. Venue is proper in the Northern District of California pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 1391 subsection B. 18. The court has general personal jurisdiction over YouTube because the company's principal place of business is at 901 Cherry Avenue, San Bruno, California, 94066. Oh, by the way, the Delaware thing is the tax evasion method. Facts. A. Ripple's success and the value of its marks. 19. Ripple was created in 2012 to realize its founder's vision of a world where money can move as quickly and securely as information, a concept referred to as the Internet of Value. Yeah, I've read the white paper for that. And it's really interesting. It's not really what they say it is. Number 20. Ripple offers a suite of enterprise software products to make the Internet of Value a reality. These products facilitate interbank communications and transaction settlement, source liquidity for financial institutions, and offer a payment interface where corporations, payment providers, and banks can seamlessly and transparently make global payments. As of 2020, Ripple accounts for more than 300 financial institutions as customers. 21. XRP is the digital asset native to the XRP ledger, an open-source distributed ledger technology. Ripple's customers can use XRP for sourcing liquidity in cross-border transactions, thereby ensuring instant settlement, lower exchange fees, and more efficient use of working capital. Number 22. Mr. Garlinghouse became CEO of Ripple in 2017. In this role, Mr. Garlinghouse serves as the public face of Ripple. He is a trusted and respected voice on Ripple and its public thought leader on issues relating to financial technology and digital assets. Number 23. As Ripple has grown, so too has the value of Ripple's brand. Ripple owns trademarks that include but are not limited to Ripple, Ripple Labs, and the company's distinctive Triskelion logo, which consists of 3 connected circles. These marks are registered as follows: and Ripple and serial number and blah blah blah, and Ripple Labs. Okay. The terms Ripple and Ripple Labs are registered as standard character marks, such that the single word mark protects the phrase regardless of the font, size, or color used. The Triskelion logo trademark is registered and protected without regard to color. All of Ripple's registered trademarks are distinctive, non-functional, and have no secondary meaning. 26. Ripple's brand and marks define its identity and are at the core of how the company represents itself to the public. Yeah, they're a third party. That's why it's got 3 dots. B. YouTube has the means to stop the scam, but refuses to do so. Not entirely true. 27. YouTube is a video sharing platform that generates $15 billion in annual revenue, making it one of the internet's largest publishers. YouTube's primary source of revenue comes from selling ads to third parties. Although these ads come in several varieties, the source of revenue is essentially the same. YouTube profits from its users and creators. 28. YouTube enables its users to view, post, and comment on video content. All of this occurs on YouTube's platform, hosted at youtube.com. 29. YouTube quote creators, the term for users who post videos, can also set up their own channel, which makes it easier for users to find all of a creator's content in one place. These channels allow creators to develop a following. The most popular YouTube channels have amassed more than 100 million subscribers worldwide. Because of this reach, YouTube is a valuable tool for reaching vast audiences. Number 30. YouTube has robust tools to self-regulate content on its platform, which it shouldn't do. There is no doubt that YouTube is capable of identifying, flagging, and removing fraudulent content, including content similar to the kinds of videos that at issue in the scam. YouTube regularly touts these capabilities and, in particular, highlights its ability to use these tools to detect misleading and fraudulent scams. 31. YouTube's community guidelines purport to bar scams and other deceptive practices that take advantage of the YouTube community. Included in YouTube's definition of scams is, quote, content offering cash gifts, get-rich-quick schemes, or pyramid schemes, sending money without a tangible product in a pyramid structure. As an example of a prohibited scam, YouTube cites content that, quote, makes exaggerated promises, such as claims that viewers can get rich fast, promotes cash gifting or other pyramid schemes, or is dedicated to cash gifting schemes. YouTube claims, falsely it seems, that if content violates this policy, they will, quote, remove the content. 32. In YouTube's own words, it uses and relies upon, quote, a combination of people and technology to flag inappropriate content and to enforce these guidelines. YouTube's people include over 150 academics, government partners, and NGOs. And its technologies include, quote, cutting-edge machine learning. 33. YouTube is also a core product and platform of Google, which employs, quote, a global team of over 100 PhDs, data scientists, engineers, and researchers that constantly monitor and analyze traffic on behalf of YouTube. C. The scam thrives on YouTube. 34. Since at least November 2019, certain popular YouTube creators have been targeted by spear phishing attacks. These attacks, when successful, enable attackers to take control of popular YouTube accounts and their channels. These hacked accounts are one of the ways through which the scam is perpetrated. 35. One widely reported version of the scam proceeds as follows. Bullet point 1. A legitimate and popular YouTube creator, often with many thousands of subscribers, is targeted via an email spear phishing attack. Bullet point 2. By responding to this email, the creator unknowingly and unintentionally shares his or her YouTube credentials with the attacker. Bullet point 3. Bullet point 3. These credentials are then used to strip the creator's YouTube channels of its content, including all videos, and to transform it into a channel that impersonates Ripple's and or Mr. Garlinghouse's official channel. For example, and then it gives us a nice little picture, Ripple XRP, Brad Garlinghouse on price analysis and new project for holders. As a result of YouTube's lack of cooperation, plaintiffs have been unable to verify whether each instance of the scam, of which there are many, occurred in precisely the same manner. However, plaintiffs' investigation to date suggests that each instance of the scam is substantially similar to all of the others. And then it gives us a variety here. And by using the hacked channels to impersonate the official channels of Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse, the YouTube accounts infringe on Ripple's protected trademarks, including its logo and name. Likewise, these accounts misappropriate Mr. Garlinghouse's image, name, and likeness. And there we go. The hacked accounts then begin to run publicly available content related to Ripple, often an interview with Mr. Garlinghouse or other members of Ripple's leadership team. These videos often prominently display Ripple's protected trademarks, including its logo and name. Superimposed across these videos is a message instructing viewers on how to learn more about the fake, quote, giveaway. For example, one message stated, quote, "Details about the giveaway are in the description." Beneath the video, the mechanics of the scam are described in greater detail. To participate in the, quote, giveaway, the viewer is instructed to send between 5,000 XRP to 1 million XRP to a specified virtual currency wallet. In return, the post promises the sender will receive, quote, between 25,000 XRP to 5 million XRP to the address that you sent it from. After the victim sends the XRP to the stated address, their XRP is gone and they never receive anything in return. They become another victim of the scam. 36. In addition to serving as a primary platform host for the scam, YouTube has also substantially assisted the scam and accelerated its reach. For example, the YouTube profits from the scam by knowingly selling paid ads on behalf of the fraudsters who are impersonating Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse. These so-called, quote, video discovery ads are designed by YouTube to appear at the top of its search result page alongside organic search results. There again, I want to pause right there. That's where you're fucking up, YouTube. By crafting the results that people get to see, you're going to be held responsible for the fact that you're promoting scams, either by design or inadvertently. Continuing on. Let's see here. Discovery ads are... Such ads were presented to YouTube by the scammers or as ad units and creatives, showing the fraud and pointing to the scams after YouTube was repeatedly informed of the scams. YouTube then approved them, uploaded them, endorsed them, and optimized them to attract as many YouTube users and clicks as possible based on its algorithms and search engine optimization techniques. These advertisements are presented to YouTube users who search for terms such as, among others, Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse. When a YouTube user clicks on the ad, the user is taken directly to a YouTube channel running the scam, usually some permutation of what is discussed herein. YouTube is paid to optimize the ads by revenue share. Here, YouTube sought to yield as many clicks as possible for the fraudsters and to optimize its own revenue. Actually, I'd be willing to bet that this is just an instance of somebody inside abusing their system. Imagine it. You know these systems intimately, and you know their tolerances. You know their soft points. Again, continuing on. Here, YouTube sought to yield as many clicks as possible for fraudsters and to optimize its own revenue. YouTube thus knowingly aids the scam and profits from it. 39. YouTube has also actively promoted the scam through its use of, quote, verification badges. Number 40. Take the case of popular YouTube creator MacroStyle, who at the time of the incident owned a channel with approximately 361,000 subscribers. MacroStyle's YouTube account was hacked on November 3rd, 2019. Thereafter, the name of his YouTube channel was changed from MacroStyle to Edwin's Yay, and the channel's profile image was modified to feature a picture of Mr. Garlinghouse. Several days later, with hackers still in control, YouTube inexplicably awarded the channel a verification badge which YouTube purports to reserve for channels that are, quote, authentic. This one instance of the scam resulted in at least $15,000 worth of stolen XRP. Let's see here. Oh, wow. I'm looking at what looks like a tweet from Macro Style. He's saying, LOL, I previously couldn't get verified, but now the hacker got his verification. I'm actually laughing out loud. This is so backwards. Yeah, that is completely backwards. Anyway, continuing on. 41. By doing so, YouTube communicated to its massive user base that YouTube had verified the channel as the, quote, official channel of the creator. Oh, and by the way, I've never done so to any of my social media, and specifically because of this. I don't want to give you the illusion of trust, not even through the mechanisms provided by the social media platforms that I use. There you go. Continuing on. As YouTube itself states, quote, verified channels help distinguish official channels from other channels with similar names. No, they don't. They just enhance the public-facing perception of such. Continuing on. 42. YouTube's verification of Macro Style's hacked channel is all the more surprising given the company's representation to the public that it, quote, won't verify channels that are trying to impersonate another creator or brand. Yeah, it sets up a standard for trust that can then be abused by either YouTube itself or a third party. Continuing on. 43. Another example of YouTube's assistance in its verification of YouTube accounts, which is separate from its awarding of verification badges to channels. To verify an account, one enters a verification code sent by text or voicemail. A verified account can live stream, upload videos longer than 15 minutes, and add custom thumbnails to videos. Scammers have used all three of these privileges to promote the scam. 44. Plaintiffs do not know the actual number of defrauded victims. You can find out, though. But on information and belief, plaintiffs allege that thousands of people are likely to have been defrauded out of hundreds of thousands of dollars of XRP to date, if not substantially more. Moreover, the scam continues to cause widespread harm, including by irreparably harming Ripple's brand and Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation. D. YouTube refuses to stop the scam. 45. As the threat posed by the scam grew towards the end of 2019, Ripple enlisted the company's third-party cybersecurity vendor to prevent further damage to Ripple's brand and Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation. 46. At Ripple's discretion, its vendor utilized a proprietary platform to rapidly detect, verify, and respond to new occurrences relating to the scam. 47. Since November 2019, Ripple has submitted 49 takedown demands to YouTube that relate directly to the scam. An additional 305 takedown demands were served on YouTube in connection with accounts and channels that were impersonating Mr. Garlinghouse or infringing on Ripple's brand, likely for the purpose of monetizing the scam. Number 48. YouTube ignored or otherwise failed to address many of these takedown demands. Where YouTube took action, it did so belatedly. The following is a representative example of YouTube's deficient responses. Bullet point 1, November 12, 2019, Ripple submitted a takedown notice to YouTube regarding a hacked YouTube channel with 21,600 subscribers that falsely claimed to be Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, and actively promoted the scam. Ripple sent 13 additional takedown notices to YouTube in connection with this channel. The channel remained active for more than 2 months until finally being taken down on or around February 19th, 2020. Jesus Christ, that's a long time. Bullet point 2, on January 2nd, 2020, Ripple submitted a takedown notice to YouTube in connection with a hacked YouTube channel belonging to YouTube creator Festina Durodil with 327,000 subscribers. Let's see. YouTube took corrective action 3 weeks later on January 22nd, 2020. On January 21st, 2020, Ripple submitted a takedown notice to YouTube regarding a channel that promoted the scam. Ripple submitted 8 additional takedown notices to YouTube in connection with this channel. The channel remained active on YouTube until or around March 18th, 2020. On January 27th, 2020, Ripple submitted a takedown notice to YouTube in connection with a hacked YouTube channel belonging to verified YouTube creator Best Guy Ever with 96,400 subscribers. The channel posted several videos promoting the scam. YouTube delayed until February 3rd, 2020 to take corrective action. 49. Meanwhile, new iterations of the scam continue to appear on YouTube, often amassing thousands of views and creating more victims by the day. For example, in the lead up to filing this complaint, the following content was visible on YouTube. Content posted on March 19th, 2020 by YouTube user Ripple Inc. promoting the scam. As of April 20th, 2020, the video had been viewed 14,761 times. Jesus Christ, that's like more than all my video views combined. Wow. Let's see here. Brad Garlinghouse, and here's a whole series of examples of it. Let me get a sip of water here. I'm getting a little dry. So 50, in addition to these specific remedial failures, YouTube has failed entirely to take proactive steps to prevent the fraud from continuing to occur. As a result, new iterations of the scam appear on YouTube almost every day. 51. A recent instance of the scam, which occurred months after YouTube was put on notice, involves the YouTube channel of popular creator Mesa Sean. Mesa Sean controls a YouTube channel that had, at the time, 282,000 subscribers. On March 31st, 2020, hackers took control of Mesa Sean's YouTube channel, changed the name of the channel to Ripple Foundation, misappropriated Mr. Garlinghouse's image, and began posting videos falsely promoting a fictitious XRP giveaway. 52. In another recent instance of the scam in late March, a scammer hacked or created a YouTube channel named Brad Garlinghouse that misappropriated Mr. Garlinghouse's name and image and began posting videos promoting the scam. One concerned YouTube user attempted to notify YouTube of this instance of the scam. Despite this notification, YouTube did not immediately take down this channel, and the next day, the same YouTube user was receiving ads promoted by YouTube through its video discovery ads for a video on this fraudulent channel that already had 85,000 views. Yeah, they're really good at promoting scams, it seems, huh? Let's see here. 53. Each instance of the scam is substantially similar. The hacked YouTube accounts adopt a name that incorporates Ripple and or Mr. Garlinghouse. They misappropriate Ripple trademarks or Mr. Garlinghouse's likeness as their user image. They post video content relating to Ripple and or Mr. Garlinghouse, and they use the terms XRP and giveaway prominently throughout the videos. There is no question that YouTube has the capacity to take down any and all accounts that carry the indicia of the scam. What YouTube lacks is the will to do so. E. YouTube's deliberate inaction irreparably harms. Hold on a second here. Gotta make sure I'm actually broadcasting the back half of this song. For some reason, this program, it normally picks songs out at random, and for some reason it isn't doing that. I'm gonna have to see if I can modify that. I don't know. Let's see here. We'll go with this one. There we go. That's better. And where was I? Here we go. So E. YouTube's deliberate inaction irreparably harms Ripple's brand and Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation and victimizes countless others. Number 54. YouTube's deliberate inaction has irreparably harmed and continues to irreparably harm Ripple's brand and Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation. YouTube's inaction has also injured countless individuals who fell victim to the scam. These harms will continue in scope and severity, absent intervention by the court. 55. For the past several months, Ripple has received an onslaught of correspondence from victims demanding that Ripple take responsibility for the scam, including by making them whole. Many of these messages ascribe culpability for the scam to Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse, and otherwise demonstrate the reputational harm at stake. Number 1. A message asserting that the scam involves, quote, a YouTube page made by Ripple and, quote, our trust over Ripple is questioned. Number 2. A message emphasizing the threat of, quote, a big scam and warning to be careful of all of your reputation. A message stating, quote, that these kinds of actions and pages are hurting your reputation as a company and that you as a company should prevent these fraudulencies. A message stating that the scam, quote, is becoming an epidemic, warning that the Ripple name will get hurt, and accusing that nothing is getting done about it as more victims pile up. A message reporting a loss of XRP, noting that the scam, quote, cannot be good for the brand, and demanding that Ripple, quote, take corrective action. A message asking if Ripple tolerates false accounts before proclaiming that, quote, Ripple itself is not reliable. A message notifying Ripple of a hacked YouTube channel and stating that, quote, many people are blaming your company for hacking other people's accounts, and a message accusing Ripple and Mr. Garlinghouse of being the entities responsible for the hacking of popular YouTube channels. That would be kind of counterproductive, don't you think? Number 56. There are many more examples of similar messages. There are messages threatening legal action against Ripple and others contacting Ripple to confirm whether fictional giveaway is legitimate. 57. Regrettably, the scam's collateral damage exceeds far beyond Ripple's brand and reputation. The scam has also inflicted a substantial reputational injury on Mr. Garlinghouse, which grows worse by the day. For example, in February, Mr. Garlinghouse's Wikipedia page prominently featured a discussion of the scam, a fact that at once illustrates and reinforces to Wikipedia's billions of users the false notion that Mr. Garlinghouse is associated with the scam. 59. Separately, Mr. Garlinghouse has also received numerous personal inquiries from individuals asking him to confirm or clarify his affiliation with the scam. These requests and false associations became so typical that Mr. Garlinghouse was compelled to address them publicly. And he did so in a tweet. Why are we still playing whack-a-mole with these bad actors? It took YouTube a week to take action, and there are still 35 users impersonating me, some of whom I asked to have removed a month ago. Still shocked at the inability of these companies to police their own platforms. Yeah, it's a legitimate complaint. 60. The harm to Ripple's brand and Mr. Garlinghouse's reputation is irreparable and unquantifiable. YouTube's continued refusal to timely address the fraud perpetuated on its platform can and must be stopped. And I want to go ahead and pause there. I'm on number 60. I'm getting a little gravelly in the voice and need a break. But yeah, one thing, Mr. Garlinghouse, your biggest problem is this. You should have followed Satoshi's lead and abandoned Ripple as soon as it was verified that it was operational. Because you're going to continue to suffer these reputational attacks. Because that's what you get for wearing the thorns. You can't put yourself up on the cross. You can't say, I'm the issuer, I'm the guy responsible for the policies of this coin, and not endure this kind of shit. It comes with the territory. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down with some music. As far as where to go, I only managed to resolve that going about a way for me to select stuff randomly, but it wasn't actually random. Let's see here. Let's go with this one. Like Broken Glass by Crowbar, here on Coin Metal. And that was Korn with Reclaim My Place. And it is with that I'd like to bring this episode to a close. Thank you very much for listening. I certainly do appreciate the support. We will be back again on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so until then, I want y'all to trade safe. Do your homework. And watch out for your own bunghole, because nobody else is going to do it for you. And so as far as our last dance is concerned, I hadn't selected one because you know how that is. But as far as which one to go with, I think we're going to go with a little bit of Machine Head. And here we go. The Rage to Overcome. Last Dance here on Coin Metal. Thank you again for listening, and y'all have an excellent evening. Good night.